Salut! In this video, I'm going to be talking about the 6 essential websites that you need for your French business. This video is going to come handy if you are about to create a French business, if you plan to create a French business and you're a bit curious about what will happen once it is created, or if you have already a business, whichever type, micro-entrepreneur, entreprise individuelle, sole trader, incorporated business, SAL, URSSAF, SASU, and you are wondering whether you've got it all in the right place. See it as your French Entrepreneur's Toolkit or the 6 must-visit website as a freelancer. And if you're wondering, blimey, 6 websites, that's going to be a full-time job. Not quite, because actually you will be focusing on the 4 first websites, which are very important, and the last 2 you can do much later, maybe towards the end of your first year in business. And if you're also wondering, but do French people know about this? Not quite, because if they were employee before and they start their first business, they're going to be discovering quite a few of those websites as well, because it's done for them automatically as an employee, and as an entrepreneur they have to learn it just as you are. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Valerie Aston and I help expatriates prepare, create and manage their first business in France. This first website is INPI. It's called procedure.inpi.fr. If you've had someone registering your business for you, they've already used that website in the background. So you want to make sure that whether you create your business by yourself or whether somebody created the business for you, you want to get your login details and you want to keep them safe because you might need them in the future. Why might you need them, you're wondering? Because if you need to update your business or close it down, you will be using that same website. Is the central hub for any business registration, update and closure, and even for a French incorporated business such as URSSAF, SASU. Once a year, once you finish your calendar year, you produce your lesson profit account and you are supposed to publish them. You can actually decide not to publish them. In that case, you pay a small penalty fee for your financial numbers to be hidden. So as an expat, I just know that there's going to be some changes because you might have moved to France with an Airbnb and then you change address, so you want to change that, or you might be adding an extra activity because sometimes you start freelancing and as you work you just fall onto opportunities and you might change slightly your activity, or you might just want to close it down because you're moving to a different country. For instance, I had a customer this week. A few years ago we registered her for a gîte and online teaching. She's still living in France, but she sold her first property. The new property that she has, there's no gîte and she's focusing fully on the online teaching now, so we had to update her business to reflect this. So a few tips about the INPI website. INPI is a bit like Marmite. It sounds easy, but in the background, whenever you take an option, there's some impact on your taxes. It looks easy, but you actually need more paperwork. So my advice for you is really think hard about the activity that you're registering. You might want to add primary and secondary activity to get you covered, because updating this website is going to be super tricky. If you can see, let me show you. So it looks simple, nice and easy. But as you can see from the start, when you create your account, it's showing you the connect via France Connect Plus or via France Connect. And those websites, as an expat shortly landing in France, you won't have access to France Connect or France Connect Plus. You need to have filed at least one French income tax, impôt sur le revenu, before you get access to this. So you'll be using the first one, créer votre compte, but just know that in the future, if you want to update, change the address, change your trading name, close the business down, until you find your French income tax, you're going to really struggle to do the update. And every week I receive a few emails of people asking for help for this. And my tip, make sure you write it down, is when you're at the last stage of updating your business, it's asking you to upload some documents or upload a copy of your passport and visa, and then you have to validate it, normally using France Connect or France Connect Plus. As an alternative for an expat, you're going to be using the Trust Me app that you download on your phone or the Trust Pro website online. So make sure you're free 2 hours to do this, because these are the websites where it's going to check your ID, validate your ID, and they are officially recognized by the French body. So that's why they say, what they talk about, an officially recognized signature. It's not just you signing a PDF, it's using a tool that validates your ID. You have to download the app. When you connect to the app, you have to give your full details, give your passport number, record a short video, and then they check who you are. It's only once you've done this that you can upload the INPI summary, sign it off, download it back, then go back to the INPI website and do the change. So I know that sounds like a lot of hassle, and it is, That's why my major tip, the first one is think hard about how you want to register your business, main activity, trading name, address. Try not to update it too often because this is a lot of hassle. And if you do, use the Trust Me app or the Trust Pro website. You might want to save these videos so you've got this for later. So that was our first website. That's the first step into having a business in France, freelancing, and in the future, if you want to update or close it down, you'll be using this same website. The second website that you're going to be using as an entrepreneur in France is the impots.gouv.fr. Now, I'm showing you this one as the second one because most of you think, yes, I've done it. I've got my impot account. I know I have to pay taxes. And yes, we do associate impot with paying taxes. But unfortunately, this one is not the main one for your business. Actually, as you can see on the website, if I show you, so it's been updated. All the French websites always get updated, and the trend for government bodies is you can see that white background and black text with the République Française. They're all rebranded this way. Each time I go to one of those, they change again. So you'll see in a moment, they've changed the front end, and as soon as you start drawing down, it's still the old ugly website. On this one, impots.gouv.fr, if you've been in France for a few years, you might have already used this one because there's actually two websites. There's one for you as an individual. So if you've been here, for instance, you were retiree or you had the JIT as a secondary source of income and you declared your French income tax, you would have used the espace particulier on the top right hand side here. And you can see it's already starting looking ugly. So we go back, Impot Gouv. But if you have your business, we're going to be using the red one. And on the main page, it's difficult to see when I talk about the blue one and the red one. But as soon as we click on there, you can see, I've always said to my customers, blue is you as an individual, filing your personal taxes. Red is your business Impot Gouv account where you talk to the tax office. So you can already see it's not looking already so nice, but for your business, you're going to be creating your Impot Gouv account and you will be using the red section, votre espace professionnel. Now, okay, you can say, okay, why did you say that? I have to create it, but it's not such a big deal. You're going to be using this website to talk to the tax office about your business. Whenever you have a question because something is not clear, you've received your business papers called Mémento Fiscal. Something sounds weird on there. You want to become VAT registered. You want to declare your VAT, or you want to validate and pay your CFE tax, Contribution Foncière des Entreprises. I'll add a link on top of the video so you can see about that little tax that you pay from your second year in business. This is the website that you are going to be using. And that's it. So in practice, you're going to set it up, add your bank account, so in the future, if you pay some taxes, you can't pay it from there. We're talking basically VAT and CFE tax. And then you're going to be forgetting about it. That's it. So I know that's a bit of a letdown, but that website, you create it at the start. And most time for my customers, whenever we talk to them, it's because we have some questions because the tax situation isn't clear. They didn't get their CFE papers and we want to get it done. They want to become VAT registered. And just this week, I had a case of a customer who said, I need your help to get some attestation for me. It's all clear. I've got my Impot Gouv account. I said, what about URSSAF, which is the next website I'm going to be talking about? And he had created the URSSAF, but in his mind, he thought Impot Gouv once a year, done. And actually, it missed 4 turnover declaration for his business with URSSAF. So that's one website to create. I know you think it's the main one, but it's just one, not so important. We set it up and then forget about it. Now let's talk about the next website, which is the one you're really going to be using on and on, month after month, or quarter after quarter. So this is the URSSAF website, and URSSAF is the body you're going to be paying some social charges to. And those social charges are going towards your health cover, your French pension, the training fund, the French system, and so on. So this is really the key body for your business. And here I'm going to show you 2 websites. If you're a micro-entrepreneur, you're going to be using autoentrepreneur.ursaf.fr, and that's the main one I'm going to be talking about because 90% of you are micro-entrepreneurs. But if you have a French incorporated business, you have an URSSAF, SAS, SASU, or you have entreprise individuelle under RL simplifié, you're going to be using the main website called ursaf.fr. So pay attention, micro-entrepreneur will be going to autoentrepreneur.ursaf.fr, and then you especially ignore the other one. The other one is not for you. But if you have an incorporated business or entreprise individuelle, RL simplifié, that's the one for you. And actually, it's quite likely that your accountant would manage this account for you. You will have to give them access. And yes, it's okay to grant your accountant to have access to your URSSAF account, to your impot account. Actually, when you are in those accounts, there is a section where you can give access to your accountant to those accounts. So let's go back to autoentrepreneur URSSAF.fr. So this is the most important one for 90% of you, and you will be using it to declare your turnover, so how much you've cashed in every month or quarter. And when you register your business, you decide whether you declare on a monthly or quarterly basis. So whatever you decided, you can go back on your business papers to double check. This is when you log in and you declare how much you've cashed in. This is also the website you'll be using whenever you want to ask a question to URSSAF, and it's always much easier to do it through the messagerie, whether we're talking to URSSAF and Impots. It's much easier to write down an email, upload a document if you need them to look at, and at least we get an answer. With URSSAF, it's not fast, it's more like 10 days to 2 weeks, but we do get an answer. And this website is also important for you to download some attestations. So whether you want to show some proof that you've declared your income, whether you want to renew your visa and you need some attestation that you're up to date with your taxes, that you've declared and pay all your taxes, this is a super useful website to use because it gives you some nice attestations confirming how much you've cashed in, how much you've paid. So it's a nice way to prove what you've done for your business. So for instance, this week, I helped 2 customers to look for attestations on their businesses, both with Impots and URSSAF. And for instance, one of them was someone who was renewing a visa profession libérale, and we wanted to prove the income that she had made through her business, so we did that through URSSAF. And for another customer, it was somebody working as a micro-entrepreneur for a couple of years already, and he's actually freelancing, but working through a US platform called Dio, where you just freelance and get some contracts, the same as Upwork or Fiverr. And the platform is asking him to prove that he's been paying taxes in the country where he lives. So it's all legal, so we were looking onto there as well to show a proof of his income, and we did the same with the Impots account. So this website is the one you can't miss. To me, that's the top one on your list of tools for you as an entrepreneur. You're gonna create the account, then you're gonna be adding your bank account where you will be paying your taxes from. So it's not because you added that the money is taken automatically. Whenever you declare as a micro-entrepreneur, you declare your turnover, you validate the declaration, and then you validate the fact that you allow yourself to take the money from that website 2 months later. And you're going to be logging in on a regular basis. Before we talk about the next website, which is about your health cover, I wanted to mention to you the Manage Your Micro Entrepreneur course. As you can see, there's quite a few websites to create and manage. And in the Manage Your Micro Entrepreneur course, which is my signature course to help new micro entrepreneurs, I'm sharing with you some how-to videos, some guides and some checklists. As soon as you join in, you log in, and you're going to have some videos showing you how to read your business papers, how to create those 6 accounts, giving you a tour as to the kind of information you get there and how you use them, but also how to manage your invoicing, bookkeeping, as well as tougher subject, which is like becoming VAT registered or declaring your micro-entrepreneur income in your French income tax. This also includes a monthly group calls where everybody joins in and asks their question, and is there some update to the micro-entrepreneur, for instance, like the VAT updates that we had or that was being talked about in the budgets. People come in along, ask their question, and we cover those, and I give updates. And there's also a 1-year membership to the Start Business in France forum. So whenever you have a question in between, you post them on the forum and I personally answer them. So the course is really useful to help you seeing everything you need to set up for your micro entrepreneur, giving you tools of the site, showing you how to complete them so you feel in control of your activity, and then you're ready to keep that business structure for however long you want because you are in control of your activity. Now let's move on to the third website that you're going to be using for your business, and this one it's got several names. It's the health cover. So we talk about Amélie.fr is actually the website. So that's quite a nice one to remember because it's like a surname. Think about Amélie, your best friend, or your best friend, your first best French friend. It's Amélie.fr but without the E at the end. It's also called CPAM, Caisse Primaire d'Assurance Maladie. In French, we talk about La Sécu in short, and it's La Sécurité Sociale. So many names, but it's basically your health cover. I know that as an expat, the health cover is serious stuff, and you're going to be looking at your health cover from the early stages of your business. You may know that by creating a French business, this is going to generate your health cover in France, and that this process is going to be slow. It's going to be at least 3 to 4 months because CPAM is issuing a temporary social security number, then they validate your identity, then they give you your permanent number, then you can finally create your new account and you get your carte vitale. This whole process is covered in the Manage Your Micro Entrepreneur course as to how does the health cover work and which documents you have to fill in and return to CPAM. Now, once you have your social security number allocated, so as I mentioned, it could be 3 to 4 months, you will be able to create your online account with CPM, La Sécu, Amélie, it's all the same one. You'll be able to download an attestation to prove that you have a health cover, so attestation de couverture santé. You should be receiving one in the post, but sometimes you might have missed it, or you might have moved, or you might have lost it, so you can always log in and download a copy of this attestation, which comes very handy if you have a visa renewal coming up. You can also, through this website, add up your children to your health cover. Unfortunately, you can't add your spouse to your health cover, but you can add your children. And also, very important point is that you can request through this website the EHIC card, which is the European health card. So if you're covered in France and you go and travel in Europe, we have partnership with the different health bodies, so you are covered when you go to different countries. And as an expat living in France, it's quite likely you're going to be visiting different European countries, so it's a nice one to go and get. It's super easy, and they post it to you within 2 weeks. I think you get the card in the post. So all these topics are covered in details in the Manage Your Micro Entrepreneur course. We're now moving into the last 2 websites that you need in your entrepreneur's toolkit, and for those you can give yourself some leeway to say, okay, I'm going to look at those towards the last part of the year, my first year in business. I'm going to focus in the meantime. Once my Impots, URSSAF and health cover is set up, I can really focus on developing my business, forget about the last 2 and come back to it later. But if you plan to come and stay in France for a few years, they are useful to know about, and most expats actually don't know about it. So the 4th one is Mon Compte Formation .gouv.fr. You can see all the national governmental bodies. It's always .gouv.fr. So it's a nice way to show which one are the official, the .gouv and .fr. Always also make sure that when you are on a website, you can see the HTTPS to show that it's a secure website, because this one I'm going to be sharing with you, there's loads of scam about this website because there's some potential money on it. And you might actually have received a scam without realizing, because the biggest scam for entrepreneurs and employees, we call it the CFP scam or the compte formation. You might have received some SMS messages onto your phone telling you that you have to go and validate your account to check the amount on it, and it's because people who scam you can steal your training fund money from you. So be wary about this one. Don't click on a link when somebody refers you to your training fund account, because it could be phishing and directing you to a wrong account. Always make sure you go and log in with the right website yourself. Don't click on external links. So after all those warnings, you're gonna say, what the heck is that website? Is it full of money? Let me explain it. As I mentioned, most expats don't know about it, but French people know about it. In France, whether you're an employee or whether you're self-employed, you are paying some money into a training fund. Employees know about it because every year the manager would have a yearly review and tell them about which kind of skills you want to develop, how much money there is on your fund, and what you want to use it for. But freelancers, most of the time, they don't know about it. But when you pay your social charges, whichever type of business you have, you are paying a small percentage towards that training fund. As a micro entrepreneur, if you look at the small details of your taxes, or you can look at the micro entrepreneur fact sheet that I will add below the video, in one of the tables, I actually split it up to show social charges, training fund, income tax. And that small tiny tax, which could be 0.1%, 0.2%, goes towards a training fund. Which means that after 1 year in business, provided you paid some money, because the system is if you don't declare turnover, you don't pay social charges, obviously there will be no money into your fund. You have to contribute to the system. But if you've been paying into the system and you've had a good year, you could have up to 500 euros per year added to your fund. So don't think, wow, I've never looked into it, I must be rich, because there's a bit of a cap. Once you reach the 3,000 euros, it doesn't seem to go above. So if you've been declaring your turnover, paying social charges, never logging onto this website, you might have 2,000 euros there, or you might have 400 euros there. And the idea is that you can use, so it takes at least 1 year before you can access it, because you have to pay for a full year before being able to benefit. But it means that you're going to be using this money to pay towards a training. Hello, free French lessons to all of you who might consider requesting at some point a French residency. Asking to pay for French lesson, for a French course, via training fund would be a very viable option. So the only limitation to that fund is that training has to be done in France by a body that is validated by the government. And some of you might have heard, but as the French government is actually trying to make some saving and slash into funds, the government has said that way too much money has been paid onto the training fund, and like many online courses have been benefiting from this, where it shouldn't be because it wasn't greatest value. So they've been slashing some of the people who offer training. The validation to be a training body has been cut off. But I think it's really important for you to look at. And if we look at the website, all you can see it's one of those where again we have the French white website, very clear, République Française, and you have Mon Compte Formation. This one changed since last year against another one that has been revamped. And once you log in onto it, it basically shows you how much money there is available, and then you can start doing some research. So you would do some research as to which kind of training you want to take and which kind of companies are available. Unfortunately, I would say that most of the training will be in French. But for you as an expat in France, taking the French lessons or maybe taking some lessons to improve your video editing, SEO, designing your own website, learning about specific topics, that would come very handy and is likely to be accepted. Now we're looking at the last website that is useful for your entrepreneur's toolkit, is the one about French pension, info-retraite.fr. So you might be thinking, I've only been here 6 months, so I don't know how long I'm going to be staying. But what you need to know is that when you register a business and you start paying some taxes, you are paying into a French state pension. Okay, it might take a few years to get some money back, but from day one, you are paying into the French training fund. As a micro entrepreneur, you need to reach certain level of turnover to validate 1, 2, 3, 4 quarters. And for different business types, it's the same. We have different levels of contributions. Just know that in France, to get a full state pension, you need to work for 42 years to get the full pension. So I think that's quite a lot. But if you've been working in France for at least 10 years, at least you will get something. And it's interesting to see how much you're starting to add. For some of you who might have already worked in France in the past or have had a business, if you were an employee, that website is the same. It goes with you throughout your career. So you might be employee, self-employed, employee, self-employed. It's all adding up onto that same website. And in France, as I mentioned, we need to work for 42 years. 1 year is 4 quarters that need to be validated, 4 quarters per year to validate a full year. And then it's a question of validating turnover thresholds. So it's quite a complex topic that I don't cover into details, but if you log on to the website, you can do some research, you can see how much you have, you can know which is the body that you relate to for your pension, and you can also talk to an advisor. So for instance, some of my customers have been with me since I created my business 16 years ago, and I know they've had 1, 2, 3 businesses. They've been great, and they've been in France before that, but they've had a first business farming, they've had a second business as a restaurant, they had a last business as a retreat, JIT, and non-profit associations. So their whole career is on there. They've been adding up some years of pension. So if you've had a pension you contribute in your own country and you lived in France for quite some time, you might have also a little bit of pension that will be paid to you. So it's worthwhile knowing to at least create the account, and then you might log in once a year or once every other year to see how things are evolving. But just to know, you are building some rights for your pension. There's a body you relate to, so you can ask them questions. These were the 6 websites that I recommend that you create and you learn about in order to fully manage your business. And these were INPI, Impots, URSSAF, Amélie, Mon Compte Formation, and Info Retraite. Sounds a bit like a French lesson. So you want to create them. If you want help to create those accounts and to learn to manage them, so meaning knowing how to go around the website, which kind of information you're going to find, how to use them, I'm inviting you to join Manage Your Micro Entrepreneur course. You can join at any time along the year, and also jump in on monthly group call where everybody asks questions about their situation. There's a confidentiality agreement, so whenever we ask something, we all sign up that it's only between us. I will add the link in the video description below. And you may also want to watch this next video to learn a bit more about the micro-entrepreneur. Voilà, à bientôt, salut!